thinking here. So let me show you a law of cosines problem here. Let's say that angle A is 35 degrees. This is 14 and this is 16. Actually, let's make this angle C. And you want to find C there. Does that kind of look like something you might have seen in class?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and you definitely need a calculator. You've got one, is that right? For these types of problems? Okay.
I have a scientific calculator.
Okay, that will work. These are very calculation intensive. So the formula is C squared equals A squared plus B squared. That's the starting point. Does this look familiar to you?
Yes.
It's the Pythagorean
theorem.
That's right. Now, more generally, this is how you really want to remember it. More generally is you're going to give you two sides and the angle between the side. That's case one. A and B are the two sides that are given. C is the other side, okay?
Yes.
-2. Now, the letters that go here are the same two letters here. Cosine of C, these match. Okay, so those match, meaning like C and big C. You can see that the B and the A match as well. So they give you three formulas, but really it's one formula with different letter combinations. You want to think of it as you're finding the opposite side from the two given sides and the angle between. So you got 14 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 14 times 16. Notice I'm repeating those numbers. Cosine of 35 degrees. Now, probably most of the mistakes are made going to the calculator. I'm not sure what your plan is. I don't, when you say scientific, like what kind of TI are you using? A TI 30 something?
Let me check. It is literally just a basic scientific calculator.
But it does sine, cosine, all that stuff?
No, it doesn't. No, it's just oh yeah, yes, it does actually.
Okay. So I think the hard part here is that you're going to have to hold on to some of these numbers. Like you're going to have to calculate the cosine of 35, hold that number, multiply it by 16 by 14 and 2, and then hold that number. Then you're going to need to get these numbers. And you're not allowed to use like a TI 83, 84, TI.
No, she gives us graphing calculators, which are really useful.
Okay. But you don't have one, is what we're saying.
No, we don't take them home.
I see. So here's what I would recommend. I'd recommend, so I don't mean to new share. I would recommend, I'll drop this in the chat, when you're doing lessons with me, or if you're doing homeworks at home, that use the Desmos scientific calculator, because you can basically enter all this stuff in at one time. And I'll show you that here after I type it in. And the nice thing is here is you type it in the way that I've written it here. It's a one-to-one mapping of that. So let me snip that in. All right. So if I go to that Desmos Scientific, you can see I typed this in, which is basically the same thing that I wrote. That's kind of what we want. We want to type it the same way that we write it. Now this is C squared though. Like what I just have given you is C squared. So you do have to take the square root of that number. The Desmos Scientific will do that. Just kind of amazing that we can get it to do all this all in one step. But that's the whole point of these calculators, is they're pretty powerful. So if you like that, you can add that square root to the beginning. I'll show you that here. Sound like you might be having some allergies or something. Hope you're okay.
Yeah.
It's bad. I know how bad it is. Take your time. Get where you're back settled here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I get really bad allergies.
Don't apologize. They're awful. They're just the worst. Worse than geometry.
Yeah.
So I would like you though to calculate this whenever you can. Being able to do this calculation is very important. So whenever you can.
So where do I input it?
Right there in that, click on that link and you just start entering it the way you see here. That's square root first. 14 squared plus 16 squared.
Okay.
If you need some time, go ahead and take it.
It's good. 14 squared plus 16 squared. Oh, I'm sorry. Minus 2 16 cosine 25. 9.22.
Perfect. Yes. Yes. So C is 9.22. Okay.
Okay.
So again, this formula, like it comes in a bunch of different formats. You want to see it as the other side equals the two sides minus 2 times the two sides cosine of the angle between them. This is considered a side angle side SAS case of this problem.
Okay.
All right. So let's do the other case. The other case that you use law of cosines for is side, side, side. So that's where I give you all three sides of a triangle. 14. I used 14 already. Let's go 15, 13, and 17. Okay. And let's just say, I'll just keep it kind of straightforward. Let's say we wanted to find angle C.
Okay, so what's the formula for that one?
It's the same formula. It's still the C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine big C. So C is the angle. Little c is across from it. Little c is always across from big C. A and B are the other two sides, which we don't have to differentiate between them. So this time you have 13 squared equals 15 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 15 times 17 cosine of C like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what some books do is they actually solve this for the angle. And I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other, whether it's better to use that or to just put the numbers in and move things around and solve for it. Our goal is to solve for this. So you can see you have to move the 15 squared left, the 17 squared left, 13 squared minus 15 squared minus 17 squared equals minus 2 times 15 times 17. Now notice these are multiplying. So you can divide by it. Now, what you don't have to do is you don't have to actually get the number. You can just leave it like this. Your calculator will do that for you. Okay,
even the C?
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah. So just rewriting this, cosine C equals 13 squared minus 15 squared minus 17 squared over negative 2 times 15 times 17. Now, if you were using your TI 8384, you would have to add parentheses to your numerator and denominator. But that Desmos, you don't have to. You can just enter it like this, okay? But we want C. There's like one additional step here. C is the cosine inverse arc cosine of 13 squared minus 15 squared minus 17 squared minus 2 times 15 times 17. Right. So you want to, if you can, try to enter all this in that calculator there.
So it'll be cosine
inverse. So that's under func for function.
Oh, okay.
And then you typically want to make a fraction bar, which is the division symbol, and then kind of have at it with all those.
13 squared minus 15 squared minus 17 squared divided by where so I put the parentheses and then I add the division. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it should look. The whole point of this calculator, I mean, I don't know anything about how they would design it, but from the user standpoint is it looks like the way you write it.
Okay.
It should look the way you write when you use it, which I think is way better in this modern period we're in, you know.
How do I get it so it's all the way under? Because it just keeps on going to the regular 17.
You may have to use the arrows to do that. Like the left and right arrow on your screen, or the arrow above the backspace there to kind of move. Okay. You can also click,
here we go.
kind of click in that region.
Oh, here we go. All right, and then I will divide it by -2, 15, 17. Oh, nope. And then I have to add. All right, hold on. Let me just fix this because I messed up a little bit. All right, and then I add 47.43.
Yeah, good job. You'll find that the calculation is the hardest part. Getting the calculation is the hardest part.
Yeah.
So law of cosines, there are two types that you will use it for. It's either when you're given side, angle, side. So basically a side, an angle, and a side. Or when you're given all, whoa, that's not a triangle. When you're given, I'm really struggling here. When you're given all three sides, side, 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 okay? You will learn about law of sines shortly. Usually it's given first. What you're looking for is an angle side pair. And if that's not clear, you'll see that in class, and we can definitely work on that next week. I do apologize. We do have to stop here though. I've got another lesson right after this. How did your test